As such, high school students become a college student by completing the application for admission to the college. They become a college student as they are enrolled in courses, and they will earn grades that are posted on an official college transcript. Along with this, they are treated as college students. So those due dates and assignments, readings, and other course responsibilities that faculty have in their courses are up to the student to manage and complete. There are very few excuses accepted for missing deadlines and non-performance. Even though the student may still be in high school, they are a college student at LFCC and are treated as such. So I really do want to emphasize that. You know, dual enrollment is a college high school program. The benefits of dual enrollment are many. In addition to the, next slide, Kelly. In addition to the ones shown there on the screen, many four-year schools are accepting the dual enrolled credits. They are college transcripted credits, so the four-year schools, both public and private, tend to accept those. The courses may vary according to the major. Students also gain an understanding of the rigor of college work, as well as college faculty expectations, which we just spoke about. The big advantage to students and parents is that it reduces the average time to degree completion and future college expenses. Students will also enter college with credits applicable to their degree program, thus enabling them to double major, study abroad, and perhaps participate in internship experiences. And they also have access to all the college facilities such as the library. We provide academic advising for the students and those types of things. So how does it work? Dual enrollment courses are college courses. They may be taught in the high school. They may be taught here at LFCC, and they could be taught online, virtual, which we're all learning a lot about right now. Regardless of how or where they are taught by credentialed faculty. The high school teachers who teach in the high schools are credentialed just the same as our faculty here at LFCC. Our faculty work very hard with the dual enrollment teachers. We review their textbooks. They follow the same student learning outcomes. They participate in the same assessments as our faculty give out to their students when they do program review. So they are our courses. They are taught to college standards and rigor. And students do have to meet admission criteria as well as any course prerequisites. So if there is a placement test standard that students need to meet, they can meet that through SATs, ACTs, the Virginia placement test. This year we have been given an emergency waiver that we are able to use for students depending upon their GPA and what level of math they have participated in. And dual enrollment is primarily for juniors and seniors. We do also enroll some freshmen and some sophomores depending on the course, and also depending if they are able to meet the admission criteria and any course prerequisites. So how do you become dual enrolled? Students first do the application for admission to the college, and again, you become a college student. When you do that, you will be assigned a student ID. That's how we know who you are. When a student does the application for admission, it's very important that you complete the domicile part so that you become an in-state student, because that determines the tuition rate that you pay. It's also important for students to use their full legal name and not a nickname. Sometimes they put in their nickname and then they'll give us their legal name and we can't figure out who they are. So they end up with two different student ID numbers, and that just creates chaos for lots of people here to try to figure out. We always do figure it out, but it does create a little chaos. We also recommend that the student put their social security number in the application. We don't ever see the social security number. It's never visible in any student information system or anything like that. But when a student graduates and they come to Lord Fairfax and apply for financial aid, your social security number is what links you to that application for financial aid. So if you've been a student and you didn't put your social security number in, they don't know how to link to you. So that's the only reason why it's so important to put the social in. When a student does the application for admission, you are immediately given a student ID and a username and a password. It's important that you log into the student information system and you put the username in and you put that password in. When you do that, it's going to ask you to create 5 security questions and ultimately create your own password. That's important because that's how you log in to use Canvas, which is our learning management system for online teaching. Dual enrollment at the high school, how does that work? Students will receive their registration forms at the high school. Generally, what happens is the career coach and the director of counseling or the lead counselor goes to each of the high school or each of the classes that can be dual enrolled, and they distribute the dual enrollment paperwork. In the high schools, we always use a purple form for fall and a yellow form for spring. That keeps us very organized, but students receive those forms in the high schools. The career coach will work with individual students on getting the paperwork that needs to be attached so that when that paperwork comes to the college and we're reviewing to see if you want to be in English 111, we have to see that you have a placement for English 111, which is English Comp. If you want to be in literature, we have to see that you've already taken English 111 because that is a prerequisite for English Comp, those types of things. So the career coach will help with that. Directions for how to complete the paperwork and when the paperwork is due. Those due dates are set by the high school, and students always pay the high school for those courses because we bill each high school for all of the students each semester. Homeschool students. At Lord Fairfax Community College, we have over 200 students who do enroll with us who are homeschooled pretty much annually. Our homeschool population students do very, very well here at Lord Fairfax. Our faculty speak very highly of our students, many of whom are homeschooled. So how does that work? Students would first complete the application for admission to the college. You should then, as parents and students, begin to have a conversation about why do you want to come to Lord Fairfax? What might your major be? What classes do you think you need in order to take classes at Lord Fairfax? As parents, you need to think about, well, what is it that my student needs to complete their high school graduation requirements? You know, sometimes they can dual enroll those here at Lord Fairfax. We do not advise on high school graduation requirements. That is entirely up to you as the parent. You're the principal for that homeschooled child. And so we need you to come and tell us exactly what it is you want your child to take. You will need a letter from your school division where you have indicated you are homeschooling, regardless of whether that is for homeschool instruction or for religious exemption. We will have to have a copy of that letter from the school division. If you are homeschooling for homeschool instruction, generally you're doing those end of year tests, and that is what determines grade level status, which is part of the policy that we have to be able to see what grade level is the student. Are you 9th and 10th? Are you 11th and 12th? Because that makes a difference on the process by which we enroll the student. In 2012, the General Assembly passed legislation, House Bill 1184, which required community colleges and public school divisions to work together to provide an avenue for students to be able to earn a certificate in general education and or a degree concurrent with high school graduation. And since that time, we have created implementation plans where we detail what's being offered at the high school and then what the student might need to take on campus in order to be able to do that. Our numbers on the next slide reflect how many students we enroll annually. You can see that it goes up. These are official VCCS numbers, which is why we don't have for the past 2 years. You can see our head count. These are the number of high school students who are enrolling with us, regardless of whether it's on campus or whether it's in the high school enrollment. And you can see the number of students who have graduated with Lord Fairfax at the time of high school graduation. Many students are earning a career studies certificate. They may be earning a certificate in general education, and we have students who are earning degrees. When students come to Lord Fairfax, we have a conversation with them about, well, what do you want your major to be here? Are you planning to transfer to a four-year school? Are you going to finish at Lord Fairfax? We really don't want students coming here and ending up with a bag of credits that is not ultimately going to benefit them in their future endeavors. So whether that's here at Lord Fairfax or whether that's transferring to a four-year school, we want those credits to work for the student. So at this time, I know there are probably lots of questions, and so I will answer any questions that you all have.
Brenda, as everyone's kind of taking their time to think of questions, I did see one that came up in the chat.
Okay.
It's sent to me privately, but of course we won't say who asked unless you want to chime in. It says, is the process for enrollment the same for private school students as public school students? My child goes to Mountain View Christian Academy.
Okay, so we do have some contracts with private schools, and where we have those contracts, we create their enrollment forms. They're sent to them just as we do for the public schools. But for Mountain View Christian Academy, students would do the application for admission, and then they would make an appointment with us. We would help them enroll in any courses that they want to enroll in. We do have a lot of students who come to us from Mountain View Christian Academy. So we happily welcome all students.
And as the rest of you are thinking of questions that you might want to ask, again, feel free to send us a message in the chat, or you can speak out verbally here. I did just see another come up though, Brenda, in the chat. This person says, my son is taking CLEP courses. Do those credits transfer to LFCC?
Okay, so let me talk with you about CLEP just a little bit. Yes, we do take CLEP tests, depending on the score and that kind of thing. Where you might get hung up with CLEP and you really want to look at our website, we have a great website that talks about transfer agreements. Kelly can provide you that information, but schools like JMU don't take CLEP. So if your child is ultimately planning to transfer to a four-year school, you do want to have an understanding of whether they're going to accept those credits or not. We don't make that determination for four-year schools.
Since we're on the topic, Brenda, if you'd like, I can take them to the transfer site as well as show them the new student steps. And again, the rest of you, please take your time typing in the chat or chime in at any moment. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and stop sharing this PowerPoint so that I can go ahead and show you the transfer website at LFCC. You can feel free to navigate this anytime that you would like to. However, once you are going to LFCC, whether you're a dual enrolled student or you're coming after you've graduated from high school, our advisors will be there to walk you through the process. So Brenda, can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so this is our main website, everyone. I'm just going to put a one word after lfcc.edu, and that's transfer. Let's make sure this loads up. Here we go. So along with some photos of where some of our students have gone, we have a list of transfer colleges and universities, transfer programs that would assist you with transferring. So again, if you're maybe your child is dual enrolling or you're dual enrolling and you want to think about your next step, this might be a great place to start. Programs that are transferable that are entirely online, as well as some visits and events that we have, sometimes virtual and sometimes in person once the situation is right. So let's say we click on the transfer colleges and universities. It just has a few of them listed right here that are commonly transferred to. You'll notice that there are private and public colleges. But when you do look at the list of all of them, we actually have between 30 and 40 colleges and universities that have guaranteed admission agreements. That doesn't mean that you couldn't transfer to another four-year college or university outside of that list. It's just those are the ones that we have those agreements with. So looks like while I was talking, there was another question that came in. And let's see. It says, what does a sophomore need to be considered exceptional? Does LFCC make that decision or the high school?
Okay, so I'm certainly not going to tell you that your child is exceptional and your child isn't. That is not going to be my call. I'm a dean, but I'm not going to make that call for you. Basically, what we look at, folks, is can your child first of all meet admission criteria? Generally, that's Algebra 1, and they've passed their Algebra 1 SOL, or they have had Algebra 1 and we've looked at their score. Maybe they have higher level math or whatever. And then they take our placement test for English, reading, and our math placement test. If they pass those placement tests, and we have many, many, many sophomores who do that, we can enroll them in classes. Generally, particularly for private school and homeschool students, we do not register for English 111 below the 11th grade. 11th grade is generally when they start taking English 111, 112. And so beyond that, we're not too, we don't have too many qualms with trying to register freshmen and sophomores. We generally also do not register students their first class for anatomy and physiology. Anatomy and physiology are gatekeeper courses to many of our health professions, and many of our health professions are competitive entry. And so, we like for students to have a little bit of college coursework under their belt before they jump right into anatomy and physiology. We like to think that all of our students are exceptional. We hear that frequently from parents.
Got another question for you, Brenda. It says, how early should we start the enrollment process?
Okay, so let me just be real clear with you. We have been registering students all summer long. So we are like almost to the start point, which is August 24. So if you have not yet registered for classes, you need to get in here. We start registering for our spring classes in October. That's when our schedule becomes available. So the sooner you begin to look at our schedule and start mapping everything out, that's when you need to get in here. You do not want to wait until the last minute. And as you meet with us, our dual enrollment specialist will tell you, when our enrollment dates are and when you should come back, because once we start back with face-to-face coursework, our classes fill very quickly, particularly our science classes. So if you need a particular schedule, it's important for you to get here earlier rather than later. We will accommodate you. Certainly we have course openings right now. We can accommodate you, but the sooner you get in here, the better, because we do like to meet with you and have the conversation about what are you going to do with these classes. We don't want you to have a bag of credits that aren't going to work for you.
So perfect timing that you would mention a dual enrollment specialist, Brenda. This, I believe, is related. This person said, I'm sorry if you already answered this question. I missed it. But who do we contact in the admissions department to set up an appointment?
Okay, so we have an office dedicated to early college. That's what we do here. And so my contact is at the end of this presentation. Just email me and we will get you scheduled for an appointment. But we do want you first to do the application for admission so that we are able to move forward once you start meeting with us.
So related to that, Brenda, I went ahead and put your contact information in the chat. So for those of you that are here, feel free to email her. It's bbayard, B-Y-A-R-D, at lfcc.edu. I've also put a link to the dual enrollment website. So just since we're on the topic, I will go ahead and show you all what that looks like. And Brenda, of course, since this is your website, feel free to kind of navigate them through the site if you so choose. Let's just see if it'll come up. There we go. All right.
So we do have the dual enrollment handbook. It might be worthwhile to just go through that. It does talk a little bit about FERPA. Again, we are working with college students, and yes, you're the parent paying the bill, all that kind of stuff. But we pretty much do like to talk to the student. Parents are certainly welcome to be here. when we talk to your students about advising and that kind of thing. But we do need to know that the student can advocate and navigate the process. They're the ones who are going to be in our classes. We also do really like for students to be able to log into the student information system, particularly now when all of our coursework is online using Canvas. They have to be able to log into the student information system to get into Canvas. So we do have, at your high school, on campus, homeschool students, we do provide a little bit of information there. We do not mail grades home. Grades show up on your unofficial transcript located in the student information system. I did have a parent contact me this week and said, we registered for an online class, but we've not received anything from the college. And I was like, well, we don't send anything out when your child registers. We're not sending you a schedule. The schedule is found in the student information system because, again, we're a college. That's how we operate. So, there are differences between high school and college, and sometimes that's a little hard to get onto, and we're happy to try to help you with that. But it is college.
Related to that, I'm actually going to go ahead and just log into my LFCC. You guys won't see any of my personal information, but that way you can have a visual of what Canvas looks like or where it is, or your students.
Yep.
As they navigate it. Yes,
this is the login page and the username and password that has to be created. And you can see student information system there. That's where students have to go. That's where they find their unofficial transcript, and all their personal information is found there. That's also where they request an official transcript to be sent to a four-year school. And then Canvas is our learning management system. That's where all of our, when faculty are teaching courses, they post their syllabus, their announcement, all of their assignments. Everything is found in Canvas. And so our faculty do expect students to use their official Lord Fairfax Community College email. That also tends to be a little bit of an eye-opener for students. They tend to want to use their personal emails, but when you're a college student, we communicate through the VCCS email that is assigned to the students once you are enrolled in coursework.
And if at any point your student should have any trouble, we do have student technology resources. So I'm just going to click on that real quick for you all to see. Your student can submit an ITO help request for anything with Canvas, email, etc. And do know that since we are going to be online for the most part this semester, under General Computing Resources, we do have a download for Microsoft Office 365. So if your student doesn't have that already, that's a resource that's available to you.
So can you go back there to that entry page where you logged in, Kelly, just for 1 minute? I do want to call everyone's attention to the wizard. The Virginia Education Wizard is a great resource for comparing costs from a community college to a four-year school. You are able to see if you attend Lord Fairfax for 2 years versus going straight to Shenandoah or straight to JMU, how much money you might save. And I think that's really important information in today's world where we're talking a lot about student debt. Students need to know that it is very expensive. You can earn a 2-year degree. We have transfer agreements, and the four-year schools honor those. So, really give thought to that. I can tell you I had 2 daughters, one who came here in nursing and one who went to Bridgewater. And as hard as I tried to get my second daughter to think about going to Bridgewater, she was bound and determined she was going. But I can tell you it was a lot more expensive for her to go to Bridgewater. So, I think that little bit of cost comparison to know how much you're going to be paying after you graduate, you need to give some thought to that. What's your major going to be? Are you really going to make that much money to be able to pay off that student debt? For parents, I think it tends to be a very emotional decision. As a parent myself, I wanted my daughter to go where she wanted to go. And afterwards, I was like, gosh, that was an emotional decision. Why didn't I think a little more about that? So if you haven't been there yet, give that some thought. Thank you, Kelly, for doing that.
You're welcome.
Other questions?
I'll wait just a moment in case one of you wants to chime in or wants to write something in the chat.
I like to think that everyone here at Lord Fairfax is very helpful. I have had several parents and others contact me because maybe their child was trying to do the application and they're having problems with it. You know, feel free to contact someone in admissions. They do help you with those problems. If your child has done any kind of camp here through workforce, anything like that, when they go to apply for credit classes, it'll tell you that you already have an ID number and it'll give you an error message. You know, at that point, you need to contact admissions. They can help you figure out what the problem is.
All right, so I don't see any questions coming in right now. We still have plenty of time for Q&A, but just since we have a pause, I'm going to go ahead and share with you all your next steps, which again, Brenda will elaborate on, but I'm just going to bring up the screen so that you all can see it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going back to our main website. And what you can do is actually just click on Future Students, really easy. That dual enrollment website is there for resources for you, but this is kind of the central location for next steps information. So it says, please select one. I am a new or returning student and I'm a high school student dual enrolling for the first time. So go ahead, Brenda, take it away.
Okay, so you know you're going to apply for admission to the college. We talked about that. You're going to have a username and a student ID. You do want to establish that account. It'll give you that password, but that password expires very quickly. So you need to use that to log in and set up those security questions and set up your permanent password. And then if you're in the high school, you want to speak to your career coach or your director of counseling. They can tell you the next steps. If you're homeschooled or if you're in a private school where there isn't a career coach, you're certainly welcome to contact one of us here at Lord Fairfax, and we'll be happy to help you with your questions and to help you get enrolled.
And just for any of you that might have missed the first half of this session, no worries, we've recorded this entire session, so you get all of those details there, but just like Brenda said, if you need that help, we are here for you. So I think what we can do is just give it a couple more seconds to see if there are any other questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap up and have a good night.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of thank yous, Brenda.
Okay, great. Okay, so please let us know how we can help you. We do welcome your children to come to Lord Fairfax, and we're very willing to help you navigate the process.
And with that being said, we'll go ahead and stop the recording. This recording will be available at lfcc.edu/info, same place where you registered for this session, and you can share that link with your friends, family, even yourself, just to watch again, whoever might need it. So thank you again and take care, everyone.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks, everyone.